All right, everybody, welcome to episode 7 of the Game Time Gents. It is me, Nardi, your co-host, here with Fish and Zoltowski today.
What's up, guys?
Now,
and girls.
I'm sure you're hearing that we have a missing member. Unfortunately, Mason is going through some things personally that he is not able to record. We're not sure how long this is going to last, but we always wish him well, and we hope he comes back soon so that we have our quadret, I guess. Is that what you call that?
Quartet.
There we go.
That's the word.
My man said quadret.
Quadret. He's math terms, man.
Edit it out. Start over again.
I'm not a word.
Do like 7 times the charm, right?
Again, we are sorry that this episode is coming to you a day late. Our podcast recording software took a crap on us last night. About halfway through, it just disconnected from our Discord, so we are now recording this 2 ways. We have our podcast recording software, Craig, in the Discord. He's a Discord bot. He's in here with us. Shout out, Craig. And then we also have an Audacity recording. We're all recording locally. This is all logistic stuff you guys don't need to know, but I'm telling you anyway. So this show is going to be structured similarly to the last show. We're going to hit you first with our news and our life updates, and then we're going to go into our week 2 review, our week 3 preview, and then we're going to close this out with another draft, and it's going to be our college football mascot battle royale draft. So I'll explain a little bit later what that means, but it's going to be a good draft, I can already tell. So Fish, I know you said you had some things you wanted to talk about. I'm going to let you go ahead and kick it off, buddy.
No, I appreciate it. Hey, welcome, guys. Welcome back. First off, welcome back. Just real quick, some little news and life updates here. I did see something the other day, came across my screen. I know those elder emos and alternative kids from back in the day. You guys are going to be super, super excited about this. Warped Tour is coming back next year. No announcements to the cities that they're going to be in or the lineups. I know a lot of the newer bands, newer alternative emo, screamo bands are petitioning to get their name on that list. Obviously, it's going to be a hot thing. Speaking of hot thing, I mean, sitting on that asphalt in 130-degree weather with Zoltowski with, the Monster Energies. Now we can drink legally, so a couple beers. Some of the higher-end emo kids will be drinking Alani's. It's just exciting news to see something that so many people loved, especially back in high school and in college and stuff. I know the last time that Warped was actually out there was back in 2018. So a pretty good gap of missing that 3-day span of being nothing but sweaty and listening to some amazing music. Last time I went eons ago, so I Mayday Parade and a few others. So Machine Gun Kelly was there as well, which was pretty sick. This was like his still young-ish phase going into, the popular monster that he is today. But that's my news. War Tour's coming back. Stay tuned for more information on that. I know I've been glued to it, Zoltowski. I know that
excited. Yes, I never went when I was younger, actually. I never did.
Now's the time. Next year, I hear it's coming back. So
I'm in. I sent you my top 10. Might have to tweet it out there. It's a good lineup.
It's a good lineup. I got to send you my top 10. I know we texted Bosom, and I know it's very Nova dark shit or dark matter, whatever you guys want to call them. Yeah, I know he's super stoked about it too. I know that Nutter actually, update for you, he actually might come to Cincinnati to see it, him and Katie. So the quicker we can get dates and a lineup, I keep texting people, but nobody ever responds back. So no event coordinator.
I respond, Fish.
I'm talking about the event coordinators and Mayday Parade and all that, but they're just not getting back to me. So so that's my
Fish,
news. I'm very stoked about it.
Maybe you need to activate a Twitter. A Twitter.
Yes,
and you can
an X,
join
actually. It's X now.
Is it X?
It'll always be Twitter in my eyes.
It's Twitter.
I can activate Twitter. I need to yell at Nick Sirianni for this poor performance that he did yesterday. So
we will get into that.
Sure. Yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah, but speaking of Twitter, I heard something about you. Maybe tweeting out some notifications about when you might be going live here pretty soon.
Ooh.
I did go live this past Sunday. I had, are you ready for this? Edge of your seat? Technical issues. Seems like a theme with me.
Yeah, actual.
Had some technical issues. My plan is to, if I'm not going to a Browns game that week, which I'll let you guys know when I'm going, is to stream the Browns game stream my preview of the Browns game. So I'm going to be the Browns playing whoever their opponent is. This week it'll be the Giants. And then I'm also going to stream my week 3 or whatever week it is, my preview game of that week. So we'll get into the previews later, but you can pretty much be ready to see those on Sunday mornings. I think I'm going to pick Thursday as my day to stream during the week. It seems to be the best day I can pick because I won't have much responsibility with the podcast. Wednesdays, I really like to hang out.
Thursday night football, man.
Well, I know. I'll stream before Thursday night football. So that window I get home from work to Thursday night football, I'll go ahead and stream in between there. But yeah, that's going to be an exciting thing. I'm really happy to get back into it. This podcast has really made me want to start getting back into streaming. I know I say getting back into streaming. I've streamed like 3 times before, but it's something I've always wanted to do. And, learning editing myself, I'm going to turn some of those into YouTube videos on my personal channel. So you can follow me on Twitch at Nardy's Arcade. You can follow me on YouTube as well, Nardy's Arcade. I'm pretty much Nardy's Arcade everywhere. So yeah, really excited to get that started again. The other thing I wanted to bring up was Fish and I had a week 2 matchup in one of our leagues together, and I beat the brakes off of him.
Okay, I wasn't even big break. Josh Allen, Tyreek. If you guys actually played, I'll text you guys. But you guys, played at.
I need these numbers, Fish.
I'll give you the numbers.
Because I need to text him too. Because I had him in another league this week, and it was just horrible.
Yeah,
but I beat you week 1 in the boys league, so I'm okay. I think I'm okay.
I mean, it's okay. I won 7 out of the 10 leagues that I'm in. So you know what? You take one and you win many. It is what it is. We're back. My name's been on the trophy so many times. Yeah, I got to pass it around eventually. It just gets old winning constantly.
That's why I have to gloat when I get
the ego on this guy.
It's kind of crazy. So yeah,
gotta gloat when I get one up on Fish. Have to.
100%. I get that.
All right, but let's get into our week 2 review here. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, we're going to get into our week 2 surprises, our fantasy heroes and zeros, and our concerns, but I want to apologize to everybody I told to hammer the over on the Lions and the Buccaneers game.
That went way differently than the way
I thought it would go.
It's the Nutter curse.
I thought there'd be a lot more scoring, a lot more...
Well, you tailed me on my bet for
that's true.
Baker and Goff to both throw over 1.5 touchdowns, Mike Evans to score, J-Mo to score, and for David Montgomery to score. And I think David Montgomery and Baker hit both. Yeah, and then the other 2 didn't. But
it seemed like a lock, but
yeah, it did.
They never pan out.
The Lions just played like crap. Don't even want to talk about it. I'm upset. I was mad when I left football on Sunday.
Dan Campbell did blame the loss on himself. Well, actually, he didn't. He blamed the loss on the Lions head coach. He talked in third person. So I don't know if you saw that.
I still love that guy. MCDC all the way, baby. I'm on that train.
He's a great coach.
Grit. He's got grit.
He's got grit.
Yeah, he doesn't have grit, Nick Sirianni.
You got to go for it there.
Just take the points. I don't know. The guy cries too much. He doesn't have the Philly grit.
No, look, I think you go for it in that situation because either way a touchdown still wins the game. And if you miss, they're deeper in their own territory than if you kick it off.
I mean, it's not.
You guys run with the 15 or the 10?
No, it was the 10. It's not like we don't have, Saquon Barkley. It's not like we were running it with Gainwell. I just, what? We're another loss away from Christmas time throwing beer bottles and snowballs at Santa Claus. That's where we're at right now. And it's so early in the season.
Some say Gainwell would have caught that ball. Some
say Gainwell would have caught it and then muffed it, and then they would have ran it back, and then that's it. So let's we didn't.
So when are you texting Jason Kelsey to come back? Because
it's just he's not the problem. It's just
I know
we paid that running back so much, and then we're gonna pass it. We're gonna pass it. That's what we're doing, right? Again, not a coach, but you know what? I don't know. Maybe a little run. Oh, let's not be. We try and outsmart people, and I just don't understand. It's so frustrating.
Line up, put a hat on a hat, follow the asses, and score a goddamn touchdown, right?
Follow the asses.
Soltowski, that's a $10 million contract that you just signed yourself, Tell.
I'm here for it, and I'm taking you boys with me.
I was hoping you say that. Don't forget about the little big people over here. Jeez.
Ain't nothing little about you.
That's why I said big people. Little big people. Somewhere a little smaller and height-wise.
Your offense is arguably the most physical.
Oh,
I mean, you were missing A.J. Brown, which is your physical receiving presence, but, I mean, they should have ran it there. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, you and every other Facebook, Instagram post that I follow with the Eagles, everybody's like, I don't know, what is happening right now. Everybody was lost for words. I don't know. New week, new me, new Eagles, same Sirianni. So stay tuned next week for some more bullshit that I get to say. So
at least the Cowboys lost, right?
At least the Cowboys got not only lost but got blown out, and we love that. So,
and that leads into my week 2 surprise. My week 2 surprise is the New Orleans Saints offense.
Very surprising.
Who are these guys?
I don't know. Clint Kubiak, Gary Kubiak's son, is running that offense down there like a well-oiled machine. And I say that because Derek Carr only had 16 passing attempts, and they scored, 44 points this week?
That is absurd.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Derek Carr went 11 for 16, 243 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. And then Alvin Kamara had his classic, one pick game out of the year for Alvin Kamara of 20 attempts for 115 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, and he also had one through the air. He was on fire last week. We also had Rashid Shaheed having another huge game in the receiving department. He only had 4 targets. I mean, like I said, Carr only completed 11 passes, so 4 receptions off of those 4 targets, and then he had 96 yards and a touchdown as well. So Rashid Shaheed is someone that has been sitting on my bench the last 2 weeks, and I don't think I can do that anymore. I think I have to start the kid.
I'm starting him. This
forward.
week. Yep.
You gotta.
It might have to be. Yeah.
But Fish, let's talk about your week 2 surprise. This looks like another, quarterback that's having a late career resurgence.
I mean, he is. I mean, this guy has played on multiple bad, horrible teams. Jets and the Panthers. It's just everybody kind of wrote him off, saying, "Oh, well, it's just the quarterback. The guy's just bad. He can't play. He's a Danny Dimes." But this guy has been given a second chance. Some would say a call of the honor, a monster reborn a little bit. And this guy has been revived on a Vikings powerful offense. I'm talking about Sam Darnold. Now, let me tell you about little Sammy Darnold here. 17 of 26 for 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw 1 interception, but that 1 touchdown he threw to Jay Jettas, 97 yards. I mean, Jay Jettas did break like 15 people's ankles at that time and did a little swoop around and
except
scored.
For that refs.
Except for the refs.
Sign him to the team.
I mean, honestly, can he coach? Eagles will take him. No questions asked. But Sam Darnold, I mean, week 1 when they played the Giants, everybody's like, okay, yeah, sure. Everyone's just going to steamroll the Giants. Easy win, no problem. But here's the kicker, right? Going into week 2, they're playing the 49ers, by the way. The 49ers, the fearful and one of the most scary teams out there. They got talent, Pro Bowl people left and right at every position, offense and defense. They got a hell of a coaching staff. They seem to be the runner-up of everything, but everybody thought that the 49ers were kind of going to go and steamroll. Obviously, they had some injuries going into it. CMC is a big part of their offensive contributions there, but Jordan Mason, don't sleep on Jordan Mason. That guy might be the real deal too.
Best running back in the league.
Best running back in the league. Looked like it, and the guy runs with some grit, let me tell you. But back to the thing. I know that they had a couple injuries. Debo went out a little bit too, but that defense, that whole team in general for the Vikings is rejuvenated. I can't even talk. You can edit that one out. Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna leave that in.
Nah, dude, nah.
It's not as bad as the voice cracks.
That's true. Where's the cracker? Right? It's nuts. But they look to be back to their old Vikings team a few years ago with Kirk Cuddy back there throwing it. This team looks good, looks scary. They're hot right now, especially with Aaron Jones kind of having a wishy-washy. They got Ty Johnson back there now running. He did really well last week with 12 rushes for 90 yards. That whole offense and defense seems to be clicking. Their chemistry is uncanny. Even when Sam Darnold threw that one interception, everyone came over and said, hey, don't worry about it. Go ahead and do your thing. And, man, did he do his thing. That's my week 2 surprise. It seems like Sam Darnold has finally found the team that was right for him to showcase his capabilities and skills. And hopefully he can continue that going forward. And actually, hopefully, he is not a surprise anymore, but more of a fantasy hero going forward. So very excited to see what Sam Darnold can do the rest of the season. I mean, he keeps crushing it, so he's doing really well with them. So on to week 3 for him.
That's a scary team, man.
It really is.
That's a divisional rival right there. I don't want to, I don't like it. We counted them out at the beginning of the year. I remember going through the win list that we did, and we had them. I think we had them in 5-7 or 5-8, whatever it was. I thought they won a couple games and not just come out right out of the gate just punching people in the mouth and just playing real good football. It's going to be a fun game to watch if the Lions can get their shit together. Hopefully, I know it's only week 2, but I'm excited for that in the future. And speaking on teams that the Lions play, for me, my surprise for week 2 was the Arizona Cardinals. So, they struggled a little bit week 1. Kyler came back, coming back, missed some throws. Didn't look the best, but comes out week 2, 17 for 21, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 of which were to Marvin Harrison Jr. I'll learn how to speak. 4 receptions for 130 yards and 2 TDs. One of them was a 60-yard bomb. That connection's looking strong. And after the game, Marvin said that he saw that Kyler only had 4 incompletions and they were all to him, and he's like, I'm going to change that. So just another team we kind of ranked lower, performing a lot better than we thought, especially, Rams coming off a tough overtime loss week 1. I know they lost Puka. Cooper's out, but Matt Stafford's good. They got Kyron Williams back there. Blake Corum saw the field a little bit. He's going to be a good back, I think. They're pretty strong all around, but for Arizona to come out and put up 489 yards on that team is impressive.
Wow,
and
489?
Yeah, 489.
A lot.
Yes. That's a lot of yards. And one other surprise for me, just teams as a whole, is the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, another team we kind of talked about. We ranked them a little bit lower, the quarterback roulette. But Gardner Minshew's their guy. They come out, beat the Ravens, who I thought they were going to bounce back after losing a close game to the Chiefs. And it's, the Ravens are, they've got Lamar, they've got Zay Flowers, they got Derrick Henry now. They're supposed to be that team they're gonna beat the Chiefs. It was a close game. You see that tight-knit relationship forming between the offensive and defensive players. There's a clip of Max Crosby who went up to Gardner after he threw an interception and was like, hey, you're fine, get your head right, like, you got this. Let's do it. Let's get the next drive. We'll get you the ball back. Just another team that they're in the Chiefs division. I think they could take that division from them if they keep playing like they are. So, but that'd be my surprise of the week were those 2 teams right there, teams that we kind of counted out, but really just came out strong.
Dude, I can't think of a better quarterback personality-wise than Gardner Minshew to be the guy for the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, a little while.
He is... Minshew Mania is in full effect in Las Vegas right now. But I did want to talk about another guy you just talked about, Zach, as my fantasy hero. He's personally my hero. this week because he helped solidify my win versus Fish. And that is Marvin
You are
Harrison
just
Jr.
not going to shut up about that, are you?
Maserati Marv, welcome to the NFL, my guy.
That's crazy to me.
Saw you do this at Ohio State. I knew you had it in you. There was a lot of reports earlier in the year of his teammates talking about, how he already looks like a pro, all that stuff. 6'4", 205. It just took a little bit of time for him and Kyler to get, and I mean a little bit of time, for him and Kyler to get a little bit of rapport down. So, welcome to the NFL. Zach already alluded to it. 4 receptions on 8 targets. So Kyler is going to him for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. So congratulations, Marvin Harrison Jr. I am very happy to see that, being a Buckeye fan. Some say the Buckeyes are wide receiver university. I don't think that can be disputed at this point.
No, not at all. I mean, that's a deadly duo right there so far. I mean, it only took them a week to get that adjusted. I mean, oh boy. Imagine if they get more weeks underneath their belt, more chemistry and rapport. Dude, that's going to be a dangerous combo. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I know we joke about Kyler playing too much Call of Duty once it comes out in October, but I think all jokes aside, that he's primed to have a good year. And with Marvin there, I mean, a good team, good duo, like you said.
He's locked in. Honestly, give him a couple hours. Let him play comp for a couple hours. He's earned it. He's earned that.
Yeah.
You just think we're going to see Kyler Murray running around with the new movement mechanic and on the field?
He goes to slide. He's going to slide backwards. The Omni movement.
The Omni movement. He's going to be scrambling around like he's in the game with the Omni movement, diving to the right, throwing the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. No, that's crazy. But, Marvin Harrison Jr. is my fantasy hero this week. Fish, what about you, pal?
Speaking of Omni movement, let me talk about a guy from my fantasy hero who seems to be on that Omni movement type of play style. Now, this team arguably is the fastest team in the world ever to play. They got guys who run 4.2 40s left and right. Doesn't matter offense, defense. It just doesn't matter. They're just quick all around. And I'll talk about my man, Achane. This guy had a great week 1. I think is a rare breed of a running back where not only can he shoot through the gap, through the hole, with his stature being at 5'8", 190 pounds. I know everybody's concern was, he's a little too tiny to be a bruising running back. He takes one hit, he's going to be out for a little bit with injuries. I know that injuries kind of did plague him a little bit last year. But going into this year, I mean, this guy has been on fire. Don't let his stature fool you. That guy is not afraid to take on this 350-pound lineman running right through the hole, right through the gap, hitting them, and all of a sudden, boom, you blink, and he's up the field for about 30 yards. With his speed and power that he has, this guy's going to be a deadly combo in the NFL. Not only with his running capabilities, which, by the way, last week he rushed for 22 times for 96 yards, but here's the big kicker, right? Very, very good receiving back as well. He caught all 7 receptions for 69 yards. Nice. And a touchdown. This guy might be a generational talent from, obviously with Tua going down, the new quarterback stepping in, whoever they get to replace him is going to rely heavy not only on Tyreek, but now they have a dual threat running back in Achane. And that guy can catch balls out of the backfield. He's got speed that can beat anyone around the corner, turn upfield. He's smart about it. He knows when to take a hit, when to go out of bounds. This guy could be something very, very impressive. Top 3 back for fantasy this year as long as he stays healthy. And then obviously that's the big concern with everyone staying healthy, but I think that's his only downfall is staying healthy. That guy has shown that he can blow past anyone, take the hit, truck somebody. That's my fantasy hero for this week. I mean, this guy has been able to ball out on several of my teams that helped me lead the victories. I think it was like 7 out of 10 is what I said. It's just so old news nowadays. It's just a common occurrence for me. But
would you say he's built like a brick shit house?
Brick house, yeah, it's not a shit house, but like a tiny brick house, almost like a little small mini garage. But this guy, let me tell you, this guy, he is exciting to watch. I know we were sitting at the bar watching him play. This guy's nuts. So it's very exciting. That's my fantasy hero. And again, hopefully we talk about him more and more as the season progresses, because this guy will stay relevant as a fantasy hero for anyone who has them. And it's just very exciting to watch play along with being a part of the NFL. I mean, that's just a dynamic back that is just very, very tough to have and overcome as a defense. So that's what I got. But
yeah, no, he's just a great looking back, man, especially on a team that's already fast. And with Tua going down and being out on the IR for, I think it's minimum 4 games, right? On the IR. I think they're going to go to him a lot. So should see a high, just a high workload for him, maybe even a couple screens out of the backfield. And he's just going to do what he does best and find the hole, follow the asses, like we said, and score a lot of points.
So, you know what's even crazier though is when Barkley was with the Giants, right? They understood that Barkley is an amazing talent, but it was easy to stop him when they loaded the box. Anyone who plays the Dolphins, they can't load the box because they have Waddle, they have Tyreek. Yep. You have to play. You can't guard everyone. We talked about that last episode. You can't guard everyone, and this is one guy that, I mean, you either give up 50 yards a chain or you give up a deep bomb to Tyreek or Waddle. It's going to be crazy to see how dangerous they are once we get this guy, and then finally he takes over the reins, and now he's got like full potential maxed out. But I mean, this team could be a little bit more consistent putting up points, but I mean, him, Tyreek, and Waddle, I mean, holy shit, that is a dangerous combo.
That's definitely scary for sure.
I do think his touches rushing wise are going to come down when Mostert comes back, but his production in the receiving game, I mean, he's got 14 targets on the year with 14 receptions.
It's nuts.
The fact that he is that reliable in the receiving game, he's going to be a league winner.
You got to throw him the ball. If he's going to catch it every time, throw him the ball.
See, that's where you throw him the ball late in the game because he can catch it, right, Saquon? I just if he ever tunes in, he'll get it.
Yeah.
I thought you had his number. You were going to text him. Like, listen to the podcast. No. Called your ass out this week.
He's still new. I'm working my way in.
Saquon, if you hear this, come on the podcast, dude.
True. Zoltowski, though, for your fantasy hero, it's a little bit different.
We're going to go on the other side of the ball, and this is a little bit because this is the first league I've ever done IDPs in, so individual defensive players, for those of you listening who might not know. So, for me, this guy just also blown by linemen, making good moves, just hard to stop. Aiden Hutchinson, the Michigan man. For the Detroit Lions. In our league, we have to adjust our scoring, Commissioner Fish, because he had 52 points in our league, which was 36 in most, which is still a lot for a defensive player. And that's because he had 5 tackles, 4 solo on 1 assisted, and they were all sacks. He was just bullying those linemen, and they finally figured out double team him, bring that running back in to protect. To help try and stop him, and Baker's done well, so they lost that game unfortunately, but I'm excited if that's game 2 and he's doing that stuff. I think his potential, maybe winning defensive player of the year. I know I wish I had him on my team, that's for sure.
I actually picked him up in a couple leagues. I was very excited to get him.
Tony has him in our league, so just his team is just even more stacked. I think his potential points this week were like 271.
Oh, okay.
On the weekly report.
So we need to knock Tony down a peg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was he had so many points this week. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts. But when you have a guy that scores 52 points because he gets 4.5 sacks, it makes sense.
True. True. He definitely put out the value there for sure.
Oh, yeah. Just, like I said, I wish I had him. Wish I would have picked him up. Thought about it, but we, listening to you guys' advice, which, said stick to linebackers, DBs, the guys that get more plays because, normally plays go beyond the line of scrimmage. Tried to stay away from the D linemen. Shout out Nova for picking up Myles Garrett and Max Crosby, I believe. 2 D linemen. But now that we've gone over the heroes, I'm reading about your zero here, and you also picked your team, but on the wrong side there, bud.
Yeah, I did want to shout out the Browns this week. They kind of figured some things out. As much as I don't like Deshaun the human, Deshaun the football player kind of came back and he found some rhythm now. We did only play the Jaguars, but maybe he's figuring things out. But another guy on the team that needs to figure it out is his number one receiver, Amari Cooper. Amari has, over the last 2 weeks, has 17 targets and only 5 receptions with 27 yards total and no touchdowns, which is very unlike Amari. Last year, he set his career record I think, I'm not sure if it was receptions, but it was definitely yardage in Cleveland. So, I think he will bounce back. I think he will be fine. I think he's just getting a slow start, but he's my fantasy zero because where people were drafting Amari, they're kind of expecting, not that upper echelon receiver, but maybe that next tier down where, he may have been the first receiver that they took if they took running backs in the first 2 rounds. And then they want that, that stable receiver that Amari Cooper's been throughout his career. So, Amari, I hope he figures it out. There were a lot of erratic passes the first week. I told you I was at the game. My seats are actually, if you go on my Twitter, you'll see a picture of where my seats are. It's my banner, my Twitter banner. And that's where we watch the game from. You can see where the passes go, how erratic they are from when they come out. It's a lot better than, the viewing angle that's on TV sometimes. So a lot of those passes were crazy, but he did have a couple drops last week. This week he also had a couple drops. Not sure if he just has the yips right now or what, but hopefully he gets that turned around and gets that turned around quick because the Browns do need him. Jerry Jeudy's been playing well, but, Jerry Jeudy can't handle the passing game on his own. So that's my fantasy zero. Fish, it looks like you picked another AFC North receiver as your fantasy zero.
I did. And honestly, as a fantasy owner of this player, it does pain me to say his name. I know you're jumping for joy, but Jamar Chase is my fantasy zero for honestly the last couple weeks. I know that the Bengals start out slow. They got a healthy Burrow for the first time in years, it seems like. They revamped that offensive line, which does it look revamped? I know they picked up Moss as a running back. They got Chase Brown there. They have all the right pieces to be a dominant team in the NFL. And I know that when they play the Chiefs, things get a little too chippy. But let me just read you a couple stats from the last 2 weeks combined that Chase has produced. Now, keeping in mind that, week 1, he did have a little stomach bug or he was feeling a little under the weather. So don't harp on him too much. But this week he was fully healthy. Over the last 2 weeks, though, combined stats, he's only had 10 receptions for 97 yards and 0 touchdowns. For a player of this caliber, where you think arguably he's top 3, he's up there with Jay Jettas, he's up there with CeeDee Lamb, he's a playmaker, where people are drafting him, essentially right after those 2 guys, if not earlier, if you're a little biased and you're a fan of him. Especially with the predicament that he's in with Burrow being a great player, accurate. That team is a high-powered offense. It's tough to watch him run routes and either not get the ball or the ball sailed, or it's just not creating enough space. So I don't know if it's the coaching or whatever it may be, but there's something going on there that where you draft him and how high he's going and the production that you're expecting him to get, it's tough to take him out of a lineup where you look and you're like, okay, it's Jamar Chase. He could pop off for 17 receptions for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns like he's done before. But it's an awkward predicament of he's too good, you drafted him too high, you can't bench him. So that's my fantasy here for this week based on the caliber player that he is and the stats that he's given us. Both do not go hand in hand. Yeah. So hopefully he turns it around. But Zoltowski, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so fact on that, you talked about drafting him high. So on Sleeper, which is because that's what we use, in standard leagues, overall, he went number 5. And then, and same for PPR. So number 5 overall pick in like the average draft in sleeper leagues. And other ones, I think the total overall was number 7, which is still, high. Just first rounder.
That's just crazy for what he's producing.
Definitely.
I know you're jumping for joy, but I mean, it's just as a fantasy owner, it's like, holy shit, dude. Can we, like, I don't know, do something? Like, it's hopefully the Bengals turn around. They feed him the ball like they do with CD and Jay Jettis and stuff. But I mean, yikes! It is a rough one having him on the team. So he's the fantasy zero for my week.
Yeah,
it seems to be a lot more going on there than just football, too.
Oh,
so.
100%.
Yeah. But at least he's got a quarterback that can throw to him, which my fantasy zero of the week is a quarterback named Tua, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name because I'll butcher it.
Tagovailoa.
Thank you. That's actually not that bad.
Giannis who?
Antetokounmpo.
He's 2 for 2.
Impressive. But not just from the injury standpoint, which we'll get into that a little bit later. But 10.5 points. He only threw for 145 yards, 1 TD, had an interception, and 2 rushes for 17 yards. He's got. We just talked about having all these weapons. He's got Waddle, he's got Tyreek, he's got a chain, he's got these guys he can toss the ball off to and make it happen, and he didn't. And then he went and got hurt, which is also just another kick in the nuts, and he's going to be out for another at least 4 weeks. Which again, talk more about that in a minute. But he's going to be my zero for this week. I know he's up there in a lot of leagues. If you play Superflex or if he was the quarterback you could grab because all your other choices were gone, he's still a good solid pick because he normally just throws a bomb up to Tyreek, and Tyreek runs 80 yards and scores a touchdown, which gets you a lot of points. Or he dumps it off to a chain on a pitch and does the same thing.
Yeah, Tua's good too because he really benefits from the yards after catch his targets get, which in Miami is quite a bit. So he could throw off a little dump pass to a chain or like a little drag route to Tyreek, and they could take it, like you said, 80 yards to the house, no problem. And Tua usually just benefits from that. So to see that he only put up 10 weeks, I know he got hurt, and we will talk about injuries here in a minute, but yeah, it's definitely an underwhelming stat line for him when he's probably your quarterback one that you start on your team.
Yeah, he's ranked number 14 in the quarterbacks. Currently, looking at last year's, he had QB1, QB2, 3, 9, 10. I mean, consistently 12 or higher in leagues, scoring points and averaging at least 15 to 17 points a game. He's got a couple up there in the high 20s. He's got a 34. I mean, hell, even week 1, he put up 20.62 points against Jacksonville. So, a guy that's expected to produce just didn't do it.
Yeah, and that's going to coincide with, I know your concern for the week, but I'll go ahead and I'll kick off for the concerns for the week. My concerns are, not just for this week, but for week 1 as well. There's a lot of injuries going on right now in the NFL. It seemed like last year the injury bug really hit the quarterback position. This year it's kind of hitting everybody. Just some notable injuries I have pulled up here. This is from NFL.com. It used to say the writer on here, but it's not saying it anymore. But yeah, we have David Njoku, Jake Ferguson, a couple tight ends that have gone out, and an already very sparse position there. Josh Palmer, Puka Nacua went out week 1. Jordan Addison went out week 1. Kenny Walker, the third, went out week 1 as well, and he's going to miss some time. And then you've got a couple teams, including the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that are just getting depleted at the cornerback position. So I think the Bucs had to start their 4th and 5th corners this week. Am I right, Zoltowski?
Yeah, and they still beat the Lions. The injury bug is going around. I mean, Debo got hurt. CMC's dealing with something, that definitely didn't happen this season, but he's still on the IR. Cooper Kupp went out, so the Rams are falling down. It's going around early this year. I know Njoku, he normally gets hurt every year, it seems like, because I know I had him last year and the year before that.
Pretty tough, though. He usually plays through whatever he's going through.
Yeah,
but
he'll miss like a game or two and then come back and score a ton of points. So, hey, he got that injury out of the way early this season. I'm hoping he gets healthy here quick. I've got him. I ran him and Laporta last year, like in the flex tight end, and I got a ton of points. But you see these high production guys going down, and now your IR spots are filling up, and you're asking the commish to make more because you need more.
Right. And then the week 2 injury report, some notable injuries here. Isaiah Pacheco broke his fibula, I believe. He's going to be out for an extended period of time.
Oh, that's rough.
I think that they're placing him on IR if they haven't already. Cooper Kupp, another Los Angeles Rams receiver, has also gone on IR. He suffered an ankle injury. Justin Jefferson did get banged up. I think he's okay, and I think he's practicing right now. He's I think it was a quad contusion he had going on. Taysom Hill, the Iron Man himself, he got a chest injury. I'm not sure what his status is. The Giants lost their kicker, which was kind of funny because
they didn't have a backup.
Well, that, and then the Washington Commanders just proceeded to make, what was that, 7 field goals?
7 for 7.
And beat them with just kicking.
Did not score an offensive touchdown.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch. And then you have guys like Tank Bigsby. He went down this week. Not as, I don't want to say not as significant, but a lot of the change of pace guys went down. Tank Bigsby, Tajay Spears of the Tennessee Titans went down as well. So yeah, it's a lot of injuries. I did want to highlight the Los Angeles Rams receivers. Cooper Kupp, he's going to miss some time. I'm not sure how much time. I don't believe that's been stated yet. Puka Nacua could miss a lot of time. He has a PCL strain, which that is one of the most important ligaments in your knee. It kind of goes from like MCL, ACL, then PCL, if I understand correctly. He'll need to take some time to get that healed because of the way he plays. He's quite shifty for his size. But that does lead me to a hot take I have, and I know that Zoltowski's going to talk about Tua here in a minute, but Matthew Stafford, he's 36. I know he was, kind of not sure if he was going to come back and play this year. I don't see the Rams going very far without those 2 receivers. I know it's a next man up league and all that stuff, but I think he might want to demand a trade. I mean, I think Stafford could be like a mercenary type at this point. He could get traded to, I don't want to say Tua's going to be out for the entire year, but imagine Matthew Stafford throwing the ball to Tyreek, dumping it off to Achane. I'm sure he's played in a system similar to what.
I mean, it was throw the ball to Megatron in Detroit, so it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure he's played in a system similar to what Mike McDaniels runs down there because he is part of that Shanahan coaching tree, and that seems to be, just peppered around the offensive side of the league. So, Matthew Stafford, I feel bad for him mostly. He's losing all of his receivers at this point, and I don't think it would be crazy for him to ask for a trade. I don't know if he would do it just because of, who he is, but he's on the road to having 60,000 career yards, and I would really like him to see that. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think Stafford should request a trade?
I don't think he will.
No, I don't think he will either. I think he's just so loyal. It's going to be tough for him to be like, okay, well, the wheels have fallen off. We're not going anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and dip out. See you guys later. I just don't think. I mean, he's with Detroit all those years when they just weren't good. I don't think he bails and jumps ship now to then go with. Although I think it would be incredibly fun to see him with Miami or something like that. But I just don't think he does that. It's just not in him to jump ship and bail like that.
Or what about on the flip side? Like maybe in a couple weeks we realize that Puka and Cooper Kupp's injuries are worse than what they thought that they were, and they are going to miss the entire year. Do you think maybe Sean McVay at that point kind of fields offers, or the Rams field offers for Stafford, kind of see what they can get for him?
See, I could see that happening. Yeah. I don't think any of it's ensued by Stafford. I don't think he goes, "Oh yeah, well, looks like it's time to leave," kind of thing. I think it's, "Hey, I'm here regardless of what we have. We could have high schoolers out there. I'm going to play the best that I can with what I have." I think it comes down to Sean McVay going, "You know what? Our season's not going anywhere. Stafford's aging. Let's see if we can get a pick or two for him and dump him somewhere else so we don't have to take on that contract that he has or whatever it may be." I see that happening. That's more realistic than Stafford going, jumping ship.
Yeah, he's not jumping ship. It's, like Fish said, he was with the Lions from 2009 first overall pick all the way up through the 2020 season. And they were bad those first couple of years. I mean, they were really bad. And, he stuck it out. Now, obviously, rookie contracts and all that, but he stayed with that team for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't think he requested that trade. I think that was something that the Detroit front office did. But I do think, I think you're right. I think if the injuries are going to be longer than I think they might fish Stafford out, because I think Miami, they might, like you said, if Tua is going to need to miss more, which again we'll get to that. They might throw an offer out there like, "Hey, you guys aren't throwing the ball. You have no receivers. How about we give you a couple draft picks and this guy, and you give us Matt Stafford?" Which I would love to see that, but also hate it because it would be good.
Well, I mean, you bring up a good point though too. I mean, it's not like Tyreek is 24 and Jalen's 23. Your receiving core is getting older, and you don't have that many more years left of Tyreek just blowing past everyone. So I feel like if you're all in now's a good time to seek out, I don't know, a Joshua Dobbs or someone that might be a little bit better than what they currently have. Honestly, Stafford slinging the ball out there would probably be a really great opportunity for that, to still make that run. I mean, obviously, Zoltowski, you'll get to this here in a minute. You can't rush back to his stuff. You just can't. You can't do it.
Now, some teams I thought Stafford could make an immediate impact on. Now, obviously, yeah, he'd have to learn the playbook and everything. But one of these Zoltowski really isn't going to like. But I thought immediately the Dolphins, the Giants, and the Chicago Bears.
The Bears are not getting rid of Caleb Williams.
No, not get rid of Caleb.
Yep.
Sit Caleb for a year. Let him develop.
Yeah.
Tom Brady had that quote this week about, college players, they're really dumbing down the game for college players. It seems like they're learning a playbook and not a program. I'm paraphrasing, but it seems like, you see quarterbacks like Bryce Young that had so much success in college that just get thrust to the wolves in the beginning of their career, their young career in the NFL, and now he's been benched. I would hate to see that happen to Caleb. I think Caleb's more talented than, Bryce Young is. I still think Bryce Young could be a decent player, but, what if even the Panthers bring him in to teach Bryce Young? I mean, I don't know. A lot of things
that is
rather
the
than
smart
my head
move.
just to get Stafford to at least play meaningful football in one of his twilight years here.
Yeah, I mean that is the right move. I mean, you look at it. I've talked about this multiple times. It's one thing that the Green Bay Packers do right. You look at going from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and then now to Jordan Love. They draft a guy and they sit him. They make him work behind the vet, work with the vet. Have him learn what it's like to be in the NFL, because it is different than college. It always has been. And that would be a smart move.
Well, that's a good point, too, because Jordan Love, his first 2 years, people were like, what are you guys doing? And then they watched him play in preseason. They watched him miss passes in practice. I mean, it's something to think about for sure. I mean, I think, guys like Jordan Love, guys like Trey Lance, they need to sit and really sit behind somebody. Like the Packers did it the right way, in my opinion. They've been doing it the right way for years. So,
I agree.
I mean, it'll yeah, they did, but you do make a good point. It'll be interesting to see what happens if these injuries become longer than what was expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so,
a lot of what ifs right now. So, be interesting to see how the year plays out. I hate that for Stafford. He's such a
I do too. I like the
guy. Yeah,
he's my favorite play, and you'll hate this one that he's ever done.
I think we talked about this on the podcast already.
when they're playing the Browns, they're down by 6. It's the end of the game. It's the last play. He's going out there. He's getting loose. This is his rookie year, by the way. He's breaking loose, trying to make a throw. Throws the ball up and just gets hammered. And he stays down. I mean, he's hurt. You can tell he's hurt, but pass interference on the play. 1 untimed down. However, the medical staff came out, so Stafford has to come out of the game. And I mean, he's holding that shoulder. You can tell he's hurt. He's screaming in pain. He's mic'd up during it, actually. So, you can hear him audibly, grunting, groaning, making all those pain noises. Cleveland does a great thing, calls a timeout, which allows Stafford to come back in. And he tells the coach, he says, get the F off me. I'm going in. I can throw the ball if you need me to throw the ball. Proceeds to return to the game and throw the game-winning touchdown.
An absolute dot to the back of the end zone.
Yeah, just dots him up.
Yeah, I remember that one vividly. That'll be the first thing I'm sure we'll see in the Netflix or the 30 for 30 documentary about Matthew Stafford's career. So
you are turning into a robot nutter.
Yeah, robot.
Oh no. That's all right. Go ahead and repeat what you said. We can edit that out.
I said that's definitely going to be the first thing that we see.
Hey, you're turning into a robot.
You just go ahead then. Go ahead and
all right.
Yeah, Zoltaski, go ahead and talk about yours since you got two this thing.
Yeah, so my big concern, it's been the talk of the league, it's been on every talk show, is Tua and his concussions. This is his 4th one that he's had, and when I rewatched that play, I mean, I know it's two big guys, running at each other with pads on, and he leads with his head, but it doesn't look like a concussion causing hit to me for anyone else, but because he's been so damaged already, it's weaker, it's scarred, and that's what caused it. I think he needs to retire. I really do. He's got a wife and kids, and it's scary to think that if he goes out there and he gets hit, and his head hits the turf weird, that he gets another concussion, because at a certain point you can only get so many. I think he can't get any more.
I mean, definitely can't get any more. And obviously, I mean, McDaniels came out and said that, you gotta, again, paraphrasing, but essentially you got to look out for your family. And look, I get to his mentality. I get he's a dog. He wants to do what he wants to do. He wants to play. He loves the game. But at the same time, you got to take into account and be like, I'm only how old again? Like, I want to remember the kids' names in like 3 years. Like, I mean, like Zoltaski, like you said, I mean, obviously he should have slid. He went ahead and tried to truck the safety there. Didn't work, but then
Damar Hamlin,
obviously made the tackle. It was a good tackle, but it wasn't the initial hit that really like got him dazed, as when he rolled back on his back. Well, I'm sure that obviously the initial hit, did some damage there, but it was also him rolling and then slashing his head on the back of the pavement or the turf toe. So, I mean, he was getting a double whammy there. So, I would be curious. I mean, like I said earlier, there's no way they can rush it, right? You got a good enough offense where you could find anyone in there, and who knows? This other guy that they have as a backup, it might be one of those situations with the 49ers where you can stick anybody back there as long as they can throw it deep or just give it a chain, we're okay. Just don't be dumb with the football. So
yeah, just run forwards the whole game.
I mean, literally. So I mean, that team is offensively they'll be fine. I mean, the major concern is, I mean, if Tua comes back and he plays again, if he takes another one, is that the last one he'll ever take? You know, I mean, then we're looking at, does he ever walk again? You know, there's a lot of other things that go into it with, you know, I mean, as we're still discovering, you know, brain trauma and injuries and such like that and how serious it is with CTE and everything. But man, I don't think we've seen anybody consistently get, you know, concussions like this that look like everyone's like, oh, that's not good. Like
we were all watching the game together, and
yeah,
I remember all of us audibly going, "Oh, that's not." You know, we all said that. We're like, oh, "That's not good. He's out." Immediately knew that he was concussed.
To watch. It is.
We all said like, "Not again, dude."
Yeah,
that's not good.
Which we just it shouldn't be said.
And honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of us saying it. I mean, enough is enough, you know? So
yeah. Well, and it's scary, you know, you think about the damage, you know, it can lead to death. You know, we talk about what happened with Damar Hamlin in Cincinnati. That was horrifying to watch. And, you know, I wouldn't want to see that happen again. Just, you know, he's got to think about what's outside of football. What's it going to do to him after he stops playing the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I dropped out there for a second. My internet went down, but that's why we're recording this two different ways now. So I'm sure they said a lot of, you know, great things there. I didn't really get to hear much except for the end, but I did just want to throw in my 2 cents. Again, I apologize if you guys already said this, but I think Tua should realistically think about hanging it up.
Yep.
Deja vu.
He's had 3 of those. You know, 3 of those where he's gone into fencing position or close to it, and it's hard to watch, man.
No, what is fencing position? What's the fencing position?
It's when his arms and his fingers, and he has no control. It's just like the response.
Yeah, so if you look when he goes down,
stiff and
his right arm seems to just go straight with his fingers sticking out.
Okay.
Yeah, that is like number 1 sign of concussion, I'm pretty sure, right? Not?
Well, it's number 1 sign of a bad concussion. It doesn't always, you don't always see that. So it's definitely something to think about and to remember when Tua takes the field again, if he does. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now, Fish, you know, I'd like to hear your concern. You know, talk about taking the field. Guy was actually surprised to see play week 1. Would be your concern. We've already talked about him earlier today or tonight, whenever it is. So go ahead and kick us off with that.
Yeah, again, going back to my Fantasy Zero, my concern this week and probably going forward until things change has got to be Jamar Chase. With that caliber type of player that we have, for what he wants to be paid, which he hasn't come out and said it officially, but it's somewhere in the ballpark of Jay Jettas and CD Lamb. We know Jay Jettas got that good contract. And then we kind of saw a surprise contract from CD Lamb where he took a little bit of a pay cut. So Chase should kind of fit in between there. Obviously, things have been a little rocky with the Bengals and his long-term contracts. I know he had a little temper tantrum the other day against the Chiefs. And again, that matchup is always just going to be a hot thing. Emotions are going to flare. I get it. Everyone's been there. But with his stats he's producing, so I'm sure it's just the atmosphere in general. There's a lot of things that are just adding up. Kind of reminds me of Odell Beckham when he was with the Giants, when he had his, you know, massive, amazing season, and then kind of had some duds, whether it be the quarterback play or play calling or the team in general. I think everything was just getting in his own head, and next, you know, he's fighting a kicking net. So I'm not saying, you know, Chase is going to fight a kicking net, but, you know, kind of similar to see, you know, run down the same path as Odell. But the one thing that I will say that was very smart with him was he did take out an insurance policy on himself for any injuries going forward for the season. It was actually a $50 million insurance policy, which is a good thing for Bengals fans around the world and Jamar Chase owners, is that essentially when he takes that out, he's saying that he is locked in for the season. He is ready to play. He's not going to sit out. Now, I know we've seen a lot of these athletes think that they're prima donnas. They want the billion-dollar contracts. I'm going to go ahead and hurt myself and my team by sitting out for X amount of games and keep getting fined. We saw that with Le'Veon Bell. He sat out for a year. He came back the following year and was just straight ass. Chase, though, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's going to play every down as hard as he can. He's going to make the plays that he wants. And again, Bengals are known to be slow starters, so hopefully they pick up, unfortunately for Nutter. Hopefully they pick up mid-season and get into that good mid-season form and into the playoffs. But as of right now, he's come out and he says he doesn't want to talk about long-term contracts as the season's going on with the Bengals, which, you know what, understandable. Hopefully, in theory, you take it as the season started. I'm focusing on the game. I don't want to talk about anything else right now. The other thing that's a little interesting to see, and we haven't really seen this much before with, the insurance policies, not wanting to sit out but still trying to get the contract. He still has 2 years left on his rookie contract. So, in theory, even if this year, if he is a big dud or whatever it may be, he still has all of next offseason and all of that next year to reopen the contract negotiations or possible trade opportunities or whatever it may be. So, if anything, he's doing things smart. He's trying to get the extension early, so he's locked in for a longer-term deal, piggybacking off of his rookie contract. Hopefully he's banking on a big season this year so he can be like, look, I'm worth all this money because of what I've done so far. I've done this, this, and this. I've hit my season goals. So it's just an interesting thing that's going on. As a I'm obviously not as a Bengals fan, but if I was a Bengals fan, I would be a little concerned of the team in general, not so much Chase, but obviously everything that's going on with that little temper tantrum that he had. The stats are not meeting the caliber player that he is. You could blame it on the slow start. You could blame it on the poor play calling, whatever it may be. But it's just a concern that I would like to bring up. That's definitely caught my eye, especially while everything's kind of unraveling now. And as we're heading into week 3, they're 0-2. It's just something to keep your eyes on just in case. Contracts, everything could happen differently day to day, but who knows, something may open up. He may pop off for 10 receptions and 400 yards. You never know. Then everything is good and back to normal. But just a concern that I saw from a high caliber player, just some of the things that we witnessed over the last couple of weeks, especially being at the game week 1, kind of seeing what's going on there, and then going into week 2 playing the Chiefs and everything that kind of transpired there with the referee and getting the penalty there. So that's my concern for this week. It's a very interesting concern, very interesting player, definitely worth looking into for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if that point you made about him having next year to lock in those numbers, and I hit my season goals, and I wonder if the thoughts ever crossed his mind that, oh, hey, they don't want to, pay me more. Why don't I go ball out and say, hey, this is why you should pay me more?
100%. And if it's not in his, and he's not a dumb guy by any means, so I'm sure it's in the back of his head. But the more important thing is it's in the back of his agent's head. Hey, look, let's try and get the extension now. I'm sure they're having those talks, right? Let's have the extension now. If we can't get it, we still got a whole another year for you to ball out and showcase what your skills are. And guess what? If they don't want to pay, someone will. Yep. Now that someone, whether it be, I don't know, I hate to see the 49ers or another high power. I mean, God, could you imagine him with
Buffalo will probably pass on him, and then he'll go to the Chiefs.
That's what I was going to say. Could you imagine him with the Chiefs? So he's a good enough ball player where he'll gain traction somewhere from somebody. It's just, are they going to want to pay that top contract and possibly, risk losing out on fillers for the rest of the team or that free agent that they really need on defense, but now they can't sign. So it's just something to look forward to, or not look forward to, but something to look into as the weeks progress, and hopefully he can turn it around and we get a bunch of positivity. But as of right now, the last couple of weeks, this is trending downward and it just doesn't look good. So, but again, highlighting, he was smart. He took the insurance policy. He's going to play every down as best he can as long as he's not injured. So that's the good thing going forward, positivity-wise. So,
yeah, Chase, he's not the only receiver on that team that is looking for an extension. T. Higgins is also looking for an extension. Chase has been quoted by saying that, September 6th was going to be, his deadline for the Bengals to get him an extension. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure if he's just going to, play out this year and then maybe the Bengals will exercise his 5th-year option and then he will look to go somewhere else. But yeah, from now it looks like it looks pretty grim in Cincinnati in terms of patch catchers getting those contracts. So it's a really good point there, Fish.
But in other news, though, I mean, it's a good thing because it looks like their rookies and 1 years are still doing exceptionally well, even with what they have going on. So, yes, it would be a loss for them to lose Chase, but at the same time, they could theoretically fill it with a younger talent. So they are pretty deep at receiver right now. Just wanted to point that out. So.
All right, so that was our week 2 review. So let's get into our week 3 preview here. I'm going to go first here. I already spoke about, the high-powered offense for the Saints, and that is the game I'm excited for this upcoming week. It's Philadelphia at New Orleans. I never thought I'd say give me more of the Saints, but I'm saying give me more of the Saints. I can't wait to watch this game at 1 p.m. on Sunday along with the Browns game. So that's going to be a fun game to watch for sure. I already talked about Rashid Shaheed, Alvin Kamara, Derek Carr, but I really wanted to highlight Clint Kubiak here. His dad, Gary Kubiak, he coached for a while at the Texans. He coached, I believe, for a little bit at the Broncos, which is where he played during his career. He backed up for John Elway. And it seems like he has always had a really good running back. He had Arian Foster in those years with the Texans. And then he had a couple of other guys during his years there. But he had no Sean Moreno during his years with the Broncos as well. I see a lot of, Gary Kubiak coming out and Clint Kubiak with the way that they're using Alvin Kamara. The Saints stats for the year already. Derek Carr has 443 passing yards. Kamara has 198 on the ground, and Rashid Shaheed is leading the team with 169 receiving yards. So, in 2 short weeks, that is a lot of offensive output. Kamara having 4 touchdowns on the ground alone with another one through the air. Rashid Shaheed having 2 big touchdowns as well. So it's definitely something that looks like is going to hopefully stick around, and they're going to continue rolling. Now, Derek Carr, I did want to highlight this. Derek Carr has thrown 39 passes, and he's completed 30 of them, giving him a 77% completion rate, which is very, very hard to do in the NFL. Now, I'm not sure he's going to keep that up, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see them play a team with the caliber of the Eagles, see if they can hang in, see if they're going to continue to put up big points. So I'm very excited to watch that game and see how that plays out.
Derek Carr is 15 for 15 when it comes to scoring on the first 15 drives of the Saints this year.
Wow.
So cool. Every drive they've at least scored 3 points.
Cool. Well, he'll be 16 for 16 for sure. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Philly's going to be able to hang with him a little bit, but I do think that the Saints are probably going to win that game.
Probably. You got to start that defense. Fish. No, you're not wrong.
Gotta see big play Slay can lock down Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, he can't, but it'll be on him. He'll get the next one. So,
which, can we get Shaheed to change his number? 22 for receivers, just weird to say.
Yeah, a little bit.
But Fish, why don't we get into your game that you're excited for this week, your Week 3 preview game?
Absolutely. I think these are 2 teams. Obviously, we talked about one of the quarterbacks today for my fantasy surprises. But I think these are 2 teams that are very similar in offenses, very high-powered, solid defenses. I think this is going to be just a bang-bang. It's going to be very, very close. I don't think anybody's going to explode for 3 touchdowns to nothing or anything like that. But I'm going to go with the Texans and Vikings. At the Vikings home field, Both Houston and Minnesota are both 2-0. Houston's put up 48 points in the last 2 weeks. Minnesota's put up 51. Here's what's interesting, though, is that looking at passing yards, rushing yards, and receiving yards, they're very, very similar. Outside of rushing, Mixon's carried the ball 16 more times than Aaron Jones has, but CJ does not seem to have that sophomore slump that seems to plague a lot of star players. I mean, this guy's picked up exactly where he left off last year. He's so far in the last 2 weeks, 47 of 68 for 494 yards and 3 touchdowns with no interceptions. Sam Darnold, on the other hand, Sam the Truth Darnold, is 36 of 50 with 476, 4 touchdowns, and two interceptions, unfortunately. Rushing wise, they're also somewhat very similar. Mixon has 39 carries, which is outrageous. I think he had 30 in week 1, and then obviously he got injured this past week. But he's got 39 carries for 184 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Jones has 23 carries for 126 and a touchdown as well. Receiving wise, now again, Jay Jetta's got banged up a little bit, so he could have added a few more receptions. But Nico Collins, watching that guy play is that guy's a specimen for being that big, that shifty, and that quick, making those insane catches. I thought it was going to be like, Nico Collins would have 1 year, he would be good, or a few games. It seems to be a little bit more consistent now that he's got, C.J. Stroud thrown to him. That rapport there is very good. But Nico's got 14 receptions for 252 yards and a touchdown. Of course, Jay Jetta's doing Jay Jetta's things. He's got 8 receptions, again banged up this past weekend, for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both these teams are going to go deep. They're both going to end up making the playoffs. Unfortunately, Zoltowski, it's going to be a very tough matchup. I'm sure somebody will talk about when you guys play them, Minnesota, that is. But both these teams are very similar offensive-wise. They know how to use their players. They've got dangerous threats all across the field. Even their defenses, it's like, who the hell is that guy? But who's that guy? And everyone's making plays. These are two. This is just going to be a disgusting matchup. So very excited to glue my ass to the seat and watch both these guys go at it. It's going to be a blast, and it's definitely possibly a game of the week in my eyes for sure. So,
yeah, excited to watch that game. I've got CJ in our league, and he always just goes out there and performs. He set the record for most passing attempts without an interception to start his career. It was 186 attempts.
It's nuts. It's crazy what he's doing.
And I think his current streak is even longer if you take last year into account. It was on the game the other night. I can't remember what it is. I can't find it anywhere, unfortunately. But I mean, he looks calm, collected, and throws the ball well. And he's got Stephon Diggs out there, who actually has been making some plays as well. So
he's got a hell of a receiving core for sure.
He's smart with it. We're not forcing the ball. If it's not a good look, he has no problem throwing it away or doing a dump pass. He relies on his offense, and he trusts them to make the plays. And so far, they've made plays. And have done incredibly well as an offense for Houston. And the same thing on the other side of the ball with their defense, and then the Vikings both ways too. It's just been absolutely a pleasure to watch both these teams play week in, week out so far for the first 2 weeks. So, but Zoltowski, I think you have one more matchup you kind of want to talk about, though, right?
Yeah, so going to the opposite side of the quarterback spectrum here. Nutt already talked about this a little bit earlier, but Bryce Young has been benched, and Andy Dalton will be making his comeback for the Carolina Panthers. Now, I know we've talked about this a little bit before this recording, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. I don't think Bryce Young's the problem. It's just the entire team. He has no protection, and he's panicking.
That as well. That is arguably the worst offensive line play I've ever seen.
Like I said, week 1, I saw one of their O-linemen, I think it was the left tackle, just get bowled over on a pass rush, and you can't do that at the pro level, man. I mean, you got to protect your quarterback, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. Now it'll be exciting to see if it does. Don't get me wrong, but I really don't think it's going to. It'll be cool to see Andy Dalton come back and watch him play a little bit. Also, probably just get sacked in the backfield. but
Max Crosby might have.
He might have a game.
5 sacks this week.
He might have a game, and like I said, that the Raiders team is looking to be a bit of a surprise to me. So I am excited to watch that team play, see if they can't keep that chemistry, that flow going. But Max Crosby, excited to watch him. He's an Eastern Michigan guy. My grandpa went to Eastern Michigan, played football, played tight end there. So I like him. Another edge rusher. I guess I wish I was an edge rusher, not a D tackle when I played football.
Girl, same.
But that's going to be my game to watch this week. That's 4:00 game. That's in Vegas too. So Vegas is wild, man. So it'll be fun to see what happens there.
Very fun, very exciting. Good matchups this week.
Yep, great picks, boys. Absolutely. I am excited to watch all those. And Zach, your game you picked is a 4:00 game, so all eyes should be glued to that one for sure.
I'm glued.
Yeah, I'll be at home though, unfortunately, because I got a limit on how long I can stay at Wings and Rings.
Who gave you that limit?
That's like 3.5 hours. I mean, 4. We're gonna get there at noon. Watch all the pregame.
Yikes. Okay.
Didn't you get there at noon this week?
Yeah, I left right after stream and I just went there.
Want
to make sure I got our table, dude.
Yeah, but you got the table a little far to the right. Why didn't you get the one in the middle where we could all see?
Listen, the high schoolers at the front desk just gave me a table. They almost gave us the middle.
The waitress, that's the same waitress we had every time we went last year because she remembered Arthur, which was wild to me, by the way.
Yeah, she's a strange one, though.
She remembered all of our drinks, too, which is crazy.
But hey,
she didn't remember mine.
She takes care of us, though.
She does. She's a good waitress.
Shout out Buffalo Wings and Rings waitress. I got to learn your name.
I think it's Amanda. Shout out Amanda.
Is it Amanda? Yeah, we'll go with that.
I think it is.
Next week it'll be Rachel. It's fine. We'll go with that, though.
Just rotate the names.
Yeah.
All right. So let's close this one out with our college mascot battle royale. So this is going to be a little bit different of a draft that we're going to do. It was supposed to be 16 picks. Now it's only going to be 12 because Mason can't be here with us. Now what this is going to be, what this is going to look like, we're going to select college football mascots that we would want to fight in an arena against each other. These mascots have to protect you and have to attack the other podcast members. And last man standing wins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomize the draft order like I always do in real time. So you guys ready? Drum roll, drum roll.
Drum roll.
All right, cool. First pick is me. I'm very happy about that.
Biased.
A little collusion.
Second pick is Fish.
What is this bullshit?
I'll take
And
it.
third pick is Zoltowski.
If you guys take my picks, let's fight on site on Sunday.
That's fine.
So there is a lot of great mascots we can pick here. A lot of guys a lot of teams in the SEC you look at, a lot of the Big Ten teams you look at in terms of menacing mascots. My first pick is going to be an actual physical animal.
Okay.
And he's down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm taking Mike the Tiger. They have an actual tiger on campus that is their mascot for their sports teams. So I'm taking Mike the Tiger, an actual tiger. Good luck the rest of you guys. Mike the Tiger is my first pick. He's going to be, attacking, defending my honor in this draft.
It's just a question for the general public, right? I'm assuming that you're done, right? Are you done?
What do you mean? Am I done?
Are you done with your pick? Yeah, you done with that pick? Okay. Just a general question, right? 'Cause I'm looking at I got a couple guys in mind, right? I'm trying to stack my team up with, I'm looking at a couple guys and they carry guns. Are we allowed to bring actual guns into the arena?
It's a battle royale. All bets are off, bud. Bring what you
Okay,
want.
good.
Bets are off.
So for my second pick, although it's cute that you picked a tiger, I'm going to go ahead and go with little Pistol Pete. University of Texas El Paso. Wrong school. It's Oklahoma State University. This guy's strapped with a couple pistols. So good luck with your Tiger making it. And I'm assuming he only has aimbot. So good luck with that, gentlemen. That is my second pick. Let's go ahead and lock that one in, please.
I hope he's got a good shot.
He's got a great mustache.
So
right.
I'll follow it up now.
Well,
We're doing snake still, right? So
yeah,
I go
snake,
2 in a row. Of course I do. That's fine. So my number one pick is, you guys are going to laugh at me for this, but when I explain it, you might not. Is going to be the Oregon Duck. I can't remember what his name is, if he has a name, but
Puddles. It's Puddles the Oregon
Puddles.
Duck.
That's right. You said it last week. Puddles. Yeah, it's Puddles, because he's going to be turning you guys into puddles. This man is jacked with all the push-ups he has done and has to do.
That's a good one.
See, I was not sure the angle you were going there, but I honestly, you had me in the first half. I thought that was going to be like a Wii Sports pick, but
nope. I'm not Mason.
It's a throwback.
Shout out Mason.
Shout out Mason. But yeah, now I got to do the. Oh man, follow-up pick. These ones are always hard.
A little whip round.
Yeah, a little up around there. I am gonna have to go with, and now this one hurts a little bit because it's an in-state rival. I'm gonna go with Sparty the Spartan.
You bastard! You bastard!
How are you not gonna pick a Spartan warrior, man? You ever seen 300?
It's on my list.
Yeah, it's literally mine. That if you don't pick him, Sparty's on my squad with Pistol Pete. Sparty and Pistol Pete. That's a combo you can't beat. Wait. Bars?
No. Wait.
Bars.
Yeah. Wow. Actual. Okay. Cool. Starting a new career. Talk to you guys later.
Fish's EP drops next week.
Yep. Actual. Ooh. 100%.
I'm leaving that in.
Sick, dude. Is it my go? Am I on the second?
Yep, you're on the clock.
Fish, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with an animal that is such small stature, but is widely terrified and is very aggressive. It could definitely take down a stupid duck and a tiger for sure. I'm going to go with a little Bucky the Badger. Come on, you're not beating a badger. Those things are insane. They're just terrifying. They'll go for the throat, and they know where the throat is, and they're good at getting to it. So, good luck, gentlemen. Pistol Pete shooting you, and you got this little bastard badger running at you. Done. Out. See you guys later.
So I understand you're taking a badger, but not a honey badger. Is that right?
Correct. Because Bucky is a solid name. You going with a honey badger?
I'm going with something a little more, scary than a normal badger.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
And I'm probably stealing this one from Zoltowski, and it pains me to do this, but I'm going to go with Biff the Wolverine. A Wolverine is so much more scary than a badger.
No, not if you train them. I trained my badger. Me and Bucky go way back.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, actual. And honestly, Pistol Pete's got it on lock. You're done. Out. See ya.
Well, you act like Pistol Pete's just got unlimited high noon out here. That's shout out for you Overwatch players.
His name's Pistol Pete. That's honestly...
Yeah, who else was named Pistol Pete?
What kind of pistols are we talking here, Pete Maravich?
Thank you. Oh, I'm not going to reveal to you. They're going to be revealed when he pulls them out of his holsters and starts lighting everything up. That's it.
He's got to have, he's got to know what target to go for. He's only got 12 shots at most.
Yeah, and thank God we're only picking, 3 or 4 mascots, and then to take you two out, I don't think you guys are going to outrun much, so we should be fine.
That's just rude, but you're not wrong.
You're not wrong, because I'm going to be sitting there with a lawn chair. You guys have fun.
Oh, Fish. I think you're,
Did Craig not like the Bucky the Badger pick? I'm sorry, Craig.
Apparently he didn't.
Craig may not have liked the Bucky the Badger pick, but that's okay, because we have this, this other recording software. So
we're back up.
We got to back up. All right. Anyways, let's see. My pick here at the turn, I just took Biff the Wolverine. Got to make sure I pick a good pick here. I think I'm going to pick a human. And I think it's going to be the West Virginia Mountaineer.
Yeah,
who also has a rifle.
Yeah, but it's a single shot. Single shot takes 12 minutes to load. Have fun.
I tell you what, my guy's first shot is going to go straight for Pistol Pete.
Yeah, those things are so inaccurate, though.
Yeah,
not for him. Not for him.
Come on, right? This guy. Okay.
I mean,
when you're a mountaineer, that is your life. His rifle is his lifeline.
Yeah, it's a short lifeline. So
yeah, short lifeline.
Whatever.
So.
Just Fish. What's your next pick?
My next pick. Oh God, who do we go with? You know what? It pains me, and I'm looking at the squad, right? And we got a lot of offense, but there's just not that much defense, right? So I'm going to go ahead and select someone who's just built out of armor, who could also wheel and deal on a little bit of offensive side. I'm going to go ahead and go with Nitro for Central Florida. That guy is just in an armored outfit, and I just assume that he carries a sword and shield. So your musket, once it ricochets off, we're going to go ahead and walk to you and take him out. So Nitro, welcome to the squad. Him and Bucky go way back, though.
Way back?
Way back, dude.
Oh, my pick now? I'm up?
It is your pick.
And then on the turn as well?
Yes.
All right. So my next pick, I am going to go with Sparky from Arizona State.
Oh, you're taking the actual devil?
The actual devil. I mean,
oh, God.
Yeah, it's game over right there.
Fishman, we might be cooked.
You're chalked. You're chalked, my guys. So.
We might be cooked.
Really think you are. But for my follow-up pick, I am going to go with... Oh, it's hard. I mean, I already got a good one. I got a couple good ones. The squad's already solid. I just need to find a nice backup here. Bucky, we got to take Bucky out. I think it's going to have to be, I talked about him last week, Chief Osceola.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I needed that, but that's okay.
It's fine.
Little Bucky Badger, dude. Nope. Not at all. I've trained him so well.
Don't think you're going to win.
Is this is it my pick now? Is it my last pick?
It's your last pick.
Yes, this is your last pick.
It's my last pick. Okay, so let's go with a little bit. God, I'm looking at the team, right? And we just need an absolute unit, a unit on the squad. We got Bucky the Badger. He can handle his own. He can take everybody out, but sometimes he wants to rest a little bit. And I get it, Bucky. Do your thing. But let's go with a little bit of Tony the Land Shark. For Ole Miss, please. I mean, sharks are terrifying enough in the ocean. Could you imagine them on land? Holy shit. Yeah, good luck with that, boys.
Wait, it's a land shark named Tony? I've never heard of this before in my entire life. What college is this for?
Ole Miss.
Tony the land shark from Ole Miss. All right, I'll put him in here. I don't know about that pick.
What do you mean you don't know about that pick? Verify it.
It's right here. Tony the Land Shark, team Ole Miss Rebels.
No, I see it's an actual...
You doubt me? What do you mean you don't know about that pick? He's a land shark, dude. Not like the guys that take money and stuff. Like, he's an actual land shark. It's just,
It's horrifying.
It's horrifying.
You just take the banana slugs.
And, what?
Is he Shark Boy's dad?
Oh, he does have a terrifying face.
Thank you. Look how big those teeth are. And honestly, he's got full black eyes. So him, the devil, or whoever you got, Lotowski, might be best friends. I don't know. Hey, if you want to team up, we can take that out.
Yeah. We always it's just like the Overwatch mini games.
It's honestly, it's like every game we play. So we're here for it. But no,
okay. My last pick, and I'm going to pick This is a group of mascots. I'm going with the Army Mules. And the Army Mules are ridden by the United States Army. So I'm going with the Army Mules. They're just going to charge into battle. Maybe they pick up the Mountaineer. They ride around. The Mountaineer gets some mobile eliminations here during the Battle Royale. And we'll see how that plays out. I realized I didn't really take much defense. Maybe Mike the Tiger will just be beside me.
Nope, not happening.
And defend
Bucky's on it.
Me the entire time. So
Bucky's gonna be on my shoulders, and he's gonna be pinpointing. He's the strategy guy. I'm just the guy that points.
The devil's just gonna summon demons, and I'm gonna have more than 4, so I'm gonna win. Send the cannon fodder at him.
Right, got it.
Chief Osceola's gonna be shooting arrows, throwing spears.
You guys have any honorable mentions? This was a stupid draft, but I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, it was fun. No, I don't think.
An honorable mention, I'm looking here, right? The Stanford tree at Stanford. That thing is gross.
I didn't think about the Stanford tree.
That would scare everyone away.
Also thought about Otto the Orange.
Otto the Orange, yes, the Syracuse Orange.
A giant orange coming at you.
I looked at Demon Deacon too, just for shits and gigs, because he looks unamazed. He just looks, I have to be here again, type deal.
Yeah, but I actually do have one honorable mention just because of how adorable he is. Is Uga. Just need a good sidekick.
It'd be hard to eliminate Uga for sure.
He's too cute.
A couple honorable mentions I had. I probably should have taken this guy. Blaze the Dragon from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. An actual dragon.
Yeah.
I'd be the only one in this draft with air support. Another one I thought about for defending me was Big Al from Alabama. I did think about the Boilermaker train as well. I don't know if you guys know this. Purdue's mascot is actually just a train. Oh, it's a car made to look like a train that they actually drive onto the field. So that's pretty cool. And then my last one, and this is just for intimidation alone. Big Red from Western Kentucky. Have you guys seen what this mascot looks like?
Yeah, it's
Big Red Evil Grimace. Give him to me. I mean, he is terrifying looking. The friendly eyes mixed with just the stature and the thick eyebrows, and the giant gaping mouth. I mean, I probably should have taken Big Red there.
I mean, you had me at Big Red Evil Grimace.
Big Red Evil Grimace, dude. He's so scary looking. Yeah, I looked at him for sure, but I thought people would just think of the soda when I brought him up. But yeah, as always, if you listen to this, please make sure to vote on whose draft you think is the best. I think this is probably the weakest draft we've done so far.
It's a good one, though.
It's fun.
This was a fun little change of pace. We'll get back to our favorite things, in the next couple weeks. But I just wanted to try this format out. And I do have to make sure I say we're not advocating for the hurt of any animals during this draft. That would be a bad thing. So, you guys have anything that? Oh my God! There's actually a picture online of Grimace next to Big Red.
You're still on this?
I just looked at pictures of Big Red. Look, Google Big Red.
Did you know that the Mets actually just dedicated a seat to Grimace in the stadium?
I did not know that. No.
He came out through the first pitch or whatever, and then
they won 7 games. Yep, there it is. I see it.
The Mets will do anything for a win. All right, well, you guys have anything left to say for the pod here?
Nope.
No, I don't think we're good on my end. I mean, good job on week 2. So, on to week 3s on the next week. We'll talk more.
Yep, can't wait for it. Good job on the pod today, boys. As always, not another shameless plug here, but please, if you have time, go ahead and pop into my stream if you see me alive, and I will tweet out when I go live. So, just come and say hey. You don't have to follow or anything, but if you want to, that's cool too. So, I am pushing for 100 followers on Twitch. I'm almost there. I'm at 91 right now. So, just come in and say hey, and we'll go from there. So, all right. Well, as always, it's been another episode of the Game Time Gents. Thanks for being a gent, and I always say GG.
GG. See you guys.
GG's,
See you next
bye.
week.